Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday with me, Ryan, aka Mac. This is a weekly show which covers everything from the world of Star Citizen over the past week. Links to everything discussed can be found in the description below, so let's get on with it. This week we get a sneak peek of the Cutlass in Greybox. We saw some weather effects and vegetation for procedural planets, plus we caught up with the Squadron 42 composer, Geoff Zanelli. So in this week's Star Citizen newsletter, which is a weekly email, they mentioned that 2.6.1 patch is progressing nicely. There's still some UI work to complete and stability issues to iron out. But on a good note, they are moving up the release of the regional servers to 2.6.1, where we can choose between the North America, Europe or Australia servers. Once these are up and running, they can get more tests done to determine whether more locations are needed. And the sneak peek was the Drake Cutlass Black work in progress in Greybox. So on this week's Around the Verse, with Chris Roberts being in the UK and Germany, Josh Herman took his place and he mentioned that they got through some of the character modularity bugs. They'll show this up in an upcoming ATV where we get to see how we can hopefully customize our characters. They're also concepting creatures and expanding to make the biomes more diverse. So from there we have the Frankfurt Studio update. The weapons team are reworking the existing Claws and Werner FPS weapons like the Gallant, the Arrowhead and the Arclight, giving it more of a finer level of detail and prepping to work with the new attachment system. The Devastator 12 shotgun, which is made by Castak Arms, is also getting the update as they got the new designs for Castak Arms. The ship weapons team are blocking out weapon types, sizes and upgrade levels for the Knightsbridge Arms lineup. They are validating damage to players as well, testing them out, making sure that it's all equal across the board, so they're determining how much damage players can take on all parts of their body at different ranges. They did find some discrepancies which they are now rectifying, and the environmental team are pushing planet tech. We've got some good images here. They've made progress on procedural moons, looking good far away and at close ranges, plus new varieties of vegetation which we shall see planet-side. Now branches will actually sway and bend, they say, not just grass and leaves blowing in the wind. The visual effects team are working on procedural particles, making sure the environments feel more alive. Things like terrain elevation, angle, textures and ecosystems all affect how particles now work. The ecosystem-based weather particles procedurally play things like snow and leaves. It looks very, very cool. And this allows for more bespoke detail to the items, things like leaves falling and dust blowing. All very atmospheric. It looks amazing to see. So from there we spoke to Geoff Zanelli, who is the composer for Squadron 42. He worked with Chris on the movie Outlander. He's also written music and movie scores for Hans Zimmer, plus he has just done the latest score for Pirates of the Caribbean. We heard about him and his story, and it's finally nice to meet him. We know of Pedro Camacho, but this guy seems to be sort of left behind, so it's nice to have a proper talk to him. Very, very interesting. But not sort of stuff we've already heard about, the new dynamic music system and how it changes to the situation you are in and how it was developed. As I say, majority of it we've heard before, but he did actually write the Constellation commercial score and the Squadron 42 Bishop speech score, so definitely worth checking out if you're into that sort of thing. Anyway, that was ATV. Let's move on. So on this week's Star Citizen Happy Hour, the community guest was Sergeant Gamble, and the developer guests we had Vincent Sinatra, Elwin Batchelor and Ben Lesnick. Vincent was covering for Tyler, but he also got asked some questions, which is pretty cool. They decided to play through Pirate Swarm, so in the background we could watch that. But the first question was, what are you working on? And this was to Elwin Batchelor, and he's redoing the Auroras. They're taking the current design and updating it with the newer ship tech, making it more optimized and allowing it to accommodate the new ship items. They've remodeled the exterior. They still need to add textures and materials, etc., so it's not the final colour either. But they're having to recreate the skins in the new colour tech that they use these days. They've also redone the ladder and the landing gear animations. It is not a new Aurora, it is not a new model of the Aurora, it's just a redo of the old stuff. Apparently the LN, the intakes will actually be now retro thrusters where you saw them before, and they'll have a bigger intake at the back. The next question was to do with the Banu Merchantman, and they are doing additional interior concepting work right now. They're not getting it modelled just yet, this is the step before they do that. The next concept sail is to be the Hurricane, but they cannot say any more about this. They are working hard on it now, getting some images back for the brochures. They've also got 5 other ships in concept stages, which we'll see later in the year, but again, they cannot say anything. Next question is, does QA have an input on the ship development? And they say there's plenty of times when they are working on something and they point out a change that can help, and it just gets done there and then, so they are in the trenches with them. Question after that is, with the new ship models, will we ever be able to buy the older models again? And they say not with the current updates. In the future, they will be having ships which age, and you can buy the 2946 Aurora, the 2947, 48, and so on and so forth. But the current updates are more essential for updating the systems and new techs that are coming out for the ship pipeline. Things like damage, for example, are completely new, and the updates also help optimize the game and the ships, so they are very necessary. Next question, any progress on the P-52 Merlin deployability? And you say they need the devs to help make this so that it works, but also the Caterpillar command module detaching is the same area that they need to work on, really, so it'll happen eventually. Next question, what's to do with the other ships and what is being built right now? And currently undergoing the work is the Buccaneer, the Cutlass, the Aurora. The really big ones are undergoing production as well. They didn't say what they are, but I'm pretty sure it's the Idris, the Javelin, and the Bengal Carrier, which are practically ready, but obviously they're Squadron 42 ships, so whether we'll see them, I am unsure. There's also a very small ship currently in production. They didn't say what it was, but I can only assume it's either something like the Dragonfly, which we know is practically flyable. Question after this is regarding the Freelancer variants, and they say that they are on the schedule, but they're not currently getting worked on. Next question is to do with the handling of the Cutlass in 2.6. Will it handle similar with when the new model is released? And they say that ship handling is always being updated. It's always being iterated, a lot of the time based on our feedback. But also when the ship components and systems come online with item 2.0, we will be able to directly affect how our ship handles anyway, so they will vary depending on what you want out of them. Next question was regarding the Spectrum and how it's going, and they say it's in the PTU testing right now. Everyone does have access, so head over to the website and download the PTU for the Spectrum. It's just getting constant patching, but the more testers, the better, as it'll get things done quicker. Next up was the Mustang updates, and is there anything happening with them? These are also on the schedule, they say, to be updated, but it won't be for a little while yet, but they are gathering lots of feedback from us and from other people, ready for when they do tackle them. Can some of the mining tasks be broken further is the next question. For example, maybe having a 325A firing the missiles while searching for these mining areas, and then the other ships coming in to mine. And they said that you will see more specialised utilities for ships with item 2.0, so things like scanners, add-ons and mods, etc. will be coming online, but they cannot say 100% as it's more a design question whether the 325A can do this. Second to last question, how long does it take in the ship pipeline from concept to grey box? And obviously the size of the ship is very dependable on this, but for example the Caterpillar took 1 month to get one room from concept to final. After they've built one room, they have the kit to do this and they know what they're doing. It can take 3 to 4 days. Now the Aurora, it says it can take about 2 months to get it done to the end of the grey box stage, basically. So final question, does the command module on the Caterpillar have hard points? And they say yes, it's got 3 hard points, 1 on the top, 2 on the side, which are essential and will be working once if you break away from the main body. Anyway, that was the happy hour. Some cool questions, but nothing really new. Let me know your thoughts. So also this week we had a new show titled Citizens of the Stars, where they interview a member of the community. This week it was West Sage. Congratulations to you, sir. It's a pleasure to see you up there. Sounds very similar to Citizens of the Verse, just saying. But anyway, there was a new discovered post titled A Good Man is Hard to Find, which reveals the discovery of a lost ship. Bug Smashers this week focused on the Star Marine respawns. And finally, for subscribers, CIG is having a flash sale for the Sabre Comet. I just want to give a quick shout out to BritizensCon, which is a UK fan-organised Star Citizen event, which will be happening in Manchester at the Radisson Blu Hotel on the April the 22nd. If you are interested in heading down and meeting everyone, including myself, other backers and developers like Brian Chambers, follow the link below to their website. It's britizencon.uk to learn more. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.